it's Claude again, and this time I'm going to speak about raised bed, the advantage of raised beds. The advantage of raised beds are many. The main one is that, first of all, it retains your soil. It stops the weeds from coming in, so much less weeding. And it just makes it easier to seed, to tend to your plants, to harvest. And the higher your bed is raised, this is luxury. I mean, here brick is cheap in India, and so these raised beds were made for low cost. In Canada and places like that, I mean, to do this with our climate would be crazy. But the important message is that the higher your bed is raised, the easier it is to maintain your bed. When your bed is really low to the ground, the weeds will always come in. And even if you've put newspaper and cardboard at the bottom, eventually weeds can come through. And your soil, if it's not retained in a certain way, then your soil is gonna, your nutrients are gonna leach out, and your soil is gonna degrade. One way to solve that we've learned from our friends Peter and Rosie in Goa, is that when they mulching is putting dry leaves on top or straw and stuff like that. They also mulch the path in between their beds, not only their beds, but the paths in between their beds. Because then what you're doing is that you're killing the weed that's going to invade in your bed, and eventually when your bed is starting to go lower from rain and all that stuff, after a year at the end of the season, you can dig your trenches, just dig a little bit, and that has become compost, right? And you use that and you put it on top of your bed. So that's one way of doing it. But doing a raised bed like this means that our soil is always protected. It makes for very, very good soil, and it keeps all of its nutrients inside, and it's really, really easy to maintain it. So for example, a bed that's on the ground that would be 100 feet long would take two people a good 2 to 3 hours to weed every, let's say, 4 months. Where a bed like this will take me about 10 minutes every 6 months to do. As I'm tending to my plant, I just pull the weed out. Because if I want to pull the weed, I just have to do this and drop it. And that's it, it becomes mulch. So all of these things become mulch, and they just better your earth. So it's that easy, okay? I'm gonna move to another bed, and you're gonna see that when you're close to the ground here, and I pull this grass, which has got really long roots, I'm always going to be fighting with this. So that's the difference between a raised bed. This is raised bed, but eventually it went down a little bit, the weeds went in, so that's a lot of work. So I really recommend raised beds. It holds your water really, really well, and it holds all of your nutrients, and it just makes your life easier. I recommend for people that are getting older like me, like I'm almost 60, so the higher the raised bed, whether it's in wood, in brick, or any material, the easier it is. And if I want to weed, I can just sit here and weed. I mean, it's so easy. It's so much easier than having to bend down and fight with these weeds that are always basically winning. So raised beds, big plus. You want to save yourself time, a lot of energy, a lot of frustration, have more time to enjoy your garden. Do raised beds. Thank you very much.